Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about QuickWrite, and I'm going to give you my honest review. I'm going to actually get into the tool. If you've not heard of QuickWrite, it's really been one of the first tools, AI tools, designed for fiction and nonfiction writers. So let's jump right into the screen and let's show you how this tool works. So you can see currently at the time of recording, it's either $49 a month, or you can get the lifetime access for $4.97. I'm going to tell you at the end of the video how you can actually, for a limited time, get lifetime access to this tool that's unlimited books, unlimited anything for $197. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to jump into this tool. It can do a lot for both fiction and nonfiction. As you can see here, you can use this tool for images, which I don't use it a whole lot for that. Developing characters, master world building. If you're a fiction writer, quickly evaluate scenario options, all this stuff. And also there's a whole section over here. If we click over here to the nonfiction feature side, you can see here we've got again, images, develop book and chapter outlines in a flash, book description creator, quickly evaluate content sections, quickly create perfect book titles, and a lot more. So let's jump into this and let me show you what I've got here. Close out some of these tabs. All right. So inside of here, you can create a new project. There's an academy that'll give you all these different tools or tutorials on different things, but we're going to just jump right into a project. So this is pretty simple to use. One thing that I love about this is over here, you've got built-in prompts. So you do not have to necessarily be a prompt engineer and know how to word all the prompts correctly. They've already been kind of vetted. We're going to look at these in a second. In this middle section here is what the AI spits out for you. So it's the output. And then in the far right over here is your document. Now, a couple of things that I will say, because I'm going to share with you the things that I ran into, what I love about the tool, things that I kind of bumped up against. And this tool is constantly being developed. I think so far it's been a great tool. You need to remember to name this document. So this is our test document. You want to make sure that you save it, and you want to make sure you save it here. I have been in this tool in the past and had information over here, and I forgot to hit save. And once you save this, it tends to do a little bit better with auto saving. But when you first come in here, you want to hit save. All right, you can export it to Word, also in PDF format. You can also do this full screen action, and you've got all these over here as well. All right, so let's select a content type. So we have the Power Editor. The Power Editor, I want you to think of this like your normal Chat GPT. So you can create anything that you want with the Power Editor, but you gotta create the prompt. So if I were to say something like, write a LinkedIn post about 5 creative ways to promote a membership site and use some emojis. Let's see how this does. So we're going to click on generate content, which is, my video is a little bit in the way here, but you can see generate content right there. And this tool is going to, again, this Power Editor is going to take whatever you tell it and produce some work for you. And there you go. Now, one thing that you got is you got this right here in the middle. You need to click on move content to editor, or you highlight this and move it over. But if I click this little button down here at the bottom, it's going to move it over here for me. So now I can come in here, I can edit this however I want, and you can see it added emojis and created my LinkedIn post. So that's the Power Editor. Power Editor can be used for just about anything, but I'm going to clear this away so I can show more. Then we have the fiction writing. Now, once you select some of these, it brings up for you some additional items underneath of it. So we're under fiction writing, and now it's plot suggestions, create a character description, create a book title, create a book description, rewrite an existing book description, write a background or backstory description, create unique name for a character, location, or item, create a story prompt, create a writing prompt, something else. So let's click on create a story prompt. So it wants to know, let me just move my video over, the genre. So let's say the genre is, I like historic fiction. And let's say, what element should we like to include? Let's say World War II. And just see what it does. Generate content. All right, let's see what happens with this story prompt. All right, the eerie silence of the war-torn city hung heavy in the air. I'm not going to read all this, but you can see here, 1939, the ominous gravity of the situation weighed heavily on the hearts of the citizens. So here you go, move that over. You got a little bit of copy over there. So that's like just helping you create like a story prompt. Now, the other thing we can do is we can create plot suggestions. So create a plot suggestion for, and you also have these little, looks like it's only not showing an example here, but let's say something like French girl meets German boy during World War II. And let's just hit generate content, see what it comes up with for us. And we're just throwing in different, like, hey, how could you make this a plot if a French girl meets a German boy during World War II? So here you go, the echoes of a forbidden love. Here's the plot. And you can just take all this. They even give you some names like Sarah and Heinrich. So let's move this over to the content editor. And now we've got more stuff going on over here. So what if we said create a character description and write a description for? Now, one of the things I noticed is that you might want to take something like Sarah, a young, carefree French girl, finds her life turned upside down. So sometimes if you give it a little bit more context, it tends to work better. Let's see what happens with that. And we will see. So you can see here, this is really helpful from the standpoint of you're the conductor. You are using a tool like this to be your research assistant, to be your brainstorming expert, because AI's got a large knowledge database, and you could throw ideas into it and get back more ideas. And so that's part of what's happened over the last year or two with AI really coming into our world, is we're not just the originator and creator. The way I see it is it's kind of like a 10-80-10 approach. The first 10% is you throwing an initial idea in there, and 80% the tool is helping you to create the plot, the character names, structures, the different ideas of your story. And then the last 10% is you coming back in and making it your own and cleaning it up. And so it really kind of accentuates or pushes forward your ability to create materials, books, blog posts, and more very, very quickly, as you can already tell. All right, so here is what it gave us. It gave us her appearance, kind of cool, her personality, her background, and the story arc. Now we could, of course, change all this, but if I just click on Move Content to Editor, it's going to throw it down here at the bottom. And so for us fiction writers, this allows us to really begin to have stuff that we can then work from, because we've got stuff that's already been supplied for us, which is really, really cool, right? So that's a little bit of the fiction. Let's go over to the nonfiction writing. Nonfiction writing, you got things like creating a book title, create a book description, rewrite an existing book description, create a book outline, create a chapter outline, create a content section, or something else. So let's click on book outline. And let me actually refresh this. Might lose some of this info here, but that's okay. You can see what I mean by save the document. But let's go with, I wanted to clear it out anyway. Let's go with nonfiction writing and creating a book outline. Okay, create a book outline for a book about what? Let's call this a book about Pickleball 101 for beginners. All right, let's see what happens. It's going to create an outline for us if we wanted to write a book about Pickleball 101. Okay, so let's give us an outline, move it over here to the content editor. Now you could do things like kind of clean it up a little bit, right? So we obviously don't want all these numbers here, so we get rid of these numbers. I know you don't want to sit there and watch me do it, but you could obviously, another thing you could do is you can highlight these and make these like an H2 tag. So understanding the equipment, paddles, balls, and court. So I can also come back over here and just say, hey, I want you to create a chapter outline just on this concept. So now it's going to create a chapter outline just on the chapter about, maybe chapter 1 is understanding the equipment, right? So I just put chapter 1, understanding the equipment. All right, now I can do two things. I can highlight. I like to just highlight so I can throw it right in there. When you hit the move content to editor button, it tends to always put it at the bottom. So I tend to want to just copy and paste it over. And you can see here, now I've got an outline. Now there's one or two things I can do from here. I can take this outline, and if I'm, knowledgeable on the topic, I can just start writing the chapter because I've got my sub headlines here, right? So maybe exploring the different types of paddles. I start writing about that, the material, the weight, the grip, all that good stuff. So I can do that. And see, this one is the next chapter. So let's say that's that. So I've got a chapter outline here. Now, if I wanted to create an introduction to a chapter, I can come in here and I can write a content section. And I could actually just use this right here and say, write an introduction. Now, I will say this for the content. Typically, in my experience, having ChatGPT or AI just purely write your content, if it's not coming from like your own videos or transcripts or audio recordings or stuff that you've done, tends to be a little dry. There's not a whole lot of personality. It's a lot of basic information, which can be good in certain places in a book. But I tend to use AI. There's kind of two schools of thought. There's AI assisted book writing and there's AI generated book writing. I tend to lean more towards AI assisted book writing. So I want to take, like, for example, a recording of a video I did, take the transcript, and then have a tool rewrite it using my own stories, ideas, examples, quotes, and it tends to work out better. It tends to look a lot better than to just say, write me a chapter about. And so you can see here, if we look at some of this content, you'll see what I'm talking about. Pickleball is a fast-growing sport that combines the elements of tennis, badminton, ping pong. It's played with a paddle. And so it's very informational, which is great, but that's not really a solid, intriguing introduction, right? So let's say I were to take this and move this over here just because I want to make sure I keep it there. Now, one thing you could try to do is push the tool a little bit more to get better and more creative at the beginning of your of a story at the beginning of your chapter by coming over here, going nonfiction. I think you can do a create something else, which is the power editor. And we could say something like, create an interesting introduction by using a true story about pickleball. Now, another thing you have to know about oftentimes AI generated content is you need to go test that. So you're going to need to go out there and see, is this a true story or is this tool hallucinating? You've probably heard that sometimes it can be hallucinating, and in fact, that's what it's done here. Well, it's more of just like a story. On a summer's day in a quaint little town, you see it's almost like a fiction story. So maybe if I said a story from history, let's see if this gives us something that's a little bit more concrete and factual. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Again, this is sometimes the limitation. Let's see here. All right, this is actually pretty good. Once upon a time in the rolling hills of Bainbridge Island, Washington, a group of friends found themselves searching for a new way to enjoy their afternoon sunshine. It was the summer of 1965, and this is how pickleball was actually invented. So this is a decent story. So I might use this story, might rewrite versions of it if I'm writing about this, and put that right in here. You can see this is a little bit better of a story to make it a little bit intriguing. So there's that. All right. Obviously, I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be, but I just want to show you what this tool can do. And what is very cool about it is currently right now at the time that I'm recording this, they're offering lifetime access, which means you can generate as much content as you want without having to pay an ongoing monthly fee. You can get in here into marketing. There's things like your business plan, emails, video sales letters, social media posts, Twitter posts, sales copy, something else. Again, that's a power editor, using that in relation to that. There's blog writing, which you can get into article ideas, article titles, SEO keyword ideas, blog outlines, blog intros, blog sections, blog conclusions. I will say this with the blogging, it tends to create lots of words. So you have to edit them down, which is not a bad thing. It's, some tools, if you've tried to do blog content using ChatGPT or some other tools, and you ask it to write you a lengthy blog post and only creates 250 words, it can be a little frustrating, right? But this will actually create pretty long sections because you do it one section at a time. So you would do like, creating some article titles. Let's refresh, start over with a blank slate here. Let me just show you this real quick. All right. So if we go to blog writing and say, create some article titles, and let's say I want to write about a Kajabi review. So I'm going to do a review on the software Kajabi, and I want it to generate some cool article titles for me. Then I can move these over. The ultimate Kajabi review. Let's say, all right, I like that one. Now I've got a really, really cool title for my blog post, right? Now, and let's just make this kind of our headline. Now we need an outline. So we're going to paste the title in, and we're going to ask it to create a blog outline for us. There's an outline. We're going to move this over to the content editor. So we're going to have an introduction, features, pricing, creating and customizing your online courses. All this is really good stuff. Very good. So introduction, you don't really need a header for an introduction. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And you can actually come over here and say blog intro. Now, again, it wants to know our article title. So we're going to grab that again, throw this in here. And boom, we've got a blog intro. So our blog post introduction is in there. And then you would just go through these different sections, right? So the features of Kajabi, let's make this an H2. I'm just showing you like how you could approach creating a blog post. So we would go actually into blog sections, and it's going to know our section title, which is the features of Kajabi. Now it's going to create us some content on that. Now, again, just like anything else, you're going to want to go through and you're going to vet this information. If you've got personal experience, I don't recommend like writing on things that you don't have personal experience, because we always want to vet what we're creating. So I would not come in here and write, say I'm going to start a medical blog and, it's easy to rank keywords and I'm going to write a bunch of posts about medical things. And no, don't do that. Like, what you want to do is focus on things so that when you're reading through this, you can vet the information. All right. So I personally use Kajabi to run my business. So I'll be able to see whether the tool is hallucinating or not giving us correct information. So, okay, we got a section here. So you could just grab this, come over here, copy and paste this in. All right. And there you go. I know you don't want to sit there and watch me just create this, a blog post, but this is the process. Again, you want to always click on Save Document. That's one thing that I wish it would be a little bit better at. As you can see here, I don't know why that just happened. Oh, there it goes. But saving the document on an ongoing basis is a smart thing to do, but I love this tool. Now, here's the thing. I didn't get to show you everything. In fact, just to show you this real quick, there are things like translating content we didn't get into, humanizer, rewrite content, creating an image. There's a section on Bible study, a pastor toolbox, church help. I've not really looked into this. It's new stuff like sermon prep, brainstorming for pastor toolbox, Bible study, commentary, children's curriculum. Interesting stuff for sure. Church help. Anyways, here's the thing. All right. For a limited time, I am a partner of this tool. So I do receive an affiliate commission, but I reached out to the creator of this tool, and he offered for our community to get a very, very special offer. If you go to QuickWrite, you will see that it's listed at $497 right now for a lifetime deal. But if you click on the link below in the description below, you can get QuickWrite lifetime access for just $197. So that's all the blogs you want to create, all the fiction stories, plot lines, all the nonfiction books you want to create for just $197. If the link is no longer good, it's because that deal ended, but at the time of this recording, it's still good. Click on that link. It's a special offer you can't get on the QuickWrite website. I think this is a great tool. Definitely, if you don't have a good tool in your toolbox, this is a good one. I know a lot of people that are paying anywhere from $50 a month to utilize a tool like this, and for a one-time price, it'll give you everything you need. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you got more questions about the QuickWrite software, go ahead and ask it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to cover it in future videos. Meanwhile, if you like this, click like, share, subscribe to the channel, or even click the bell notification so you can get notified anytime I've got a new video. All right, we'll talk to you next time, and never forget, your message matters.